everyone, it's Melissa, and welcome back to my channel. Are you ready to create a fun necklace using the newest Softlex company design kit, Arctic Circle? And this was for their Great Bead Extravaganza Winter 2025. So for this necklace, there's a couple different techniques from making some wrapped loops with our one-step looper tool to some basic bead stringing using Softlex wire and embellishing with seed beads. And I am just adding in a couple extra beads. I will be using Rolos as the base of the statement necklace, and I will leave a link down below. They're found on softflexcompany.com. With our Softflex wire, we'll be using the beautiful turquoise color. I just felt it really brought out the colors in this colorway from this design kit. We're using these check glass beads that are exclusive in the design kit, some beads from the Beadora mix, size 10 seed beads, and I'm using some from my collection. You can also use size 11 delicas, and those are on softflexcompany.com, a 2x2, and some jump rings. And of course, we'll be using our little penguin charms later on in our design just to give it the complete Arctic Circle feel. It's just kind of like a little statement necklace or a charm necklace. That's a little bit of a bead weaving technique, but it's very beginner friendly. And before we start creating, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It helps my little channel grow. I'm trying to reach my goal of 1,000 subscribers. And also, I will leave a link down below in the description for the products I am using in today's video, as well as a complete playlist for the Arctic Circle design tutorials. Let's start creating. So we are going to be using a lot of our Softflex wire. We're going to need about 3 feet of Softflex wire. So we'll go ahead and cut our Softflex. Beautiful Softflex wire. And with Arctic Circle, this is like sunrise in the Arctic. So very pastel colors, but you still have like the Aurora Borealis coloring. You can also use fluorite wire or quartz wire, but because I am using these color Rola beads, I wanted the wire to stand out in my design. We're going to use our 6mm jump ring. And we're just going to add that on to our Softflex wire. We're going to slide on 1 2x2. With the opposite side of Softflex, we're going to pass back through our 2x2. And we're just going to let that slide all the way down until our jump ring is in the middle of our Softflex. So we have our little loop. We just want to make any adjustments. And this jump ring is going to be a connection point where we're going to add that on at the end of our project. So we're just going to take our pliers. We're just going to flatten our 2x2. And normally I will round the 2x2 for a more professional finish, but just due to where the placement of the beads will be, you don't need to round it for this project. So we have our seed beads, our check glass, and our Rola beads. To start, we're going to pick up a Rola bead, and we're going to add one to each side of our Softflex wire. Pick up one Rola bead. It doesn't matter which side of wire. Just like we did with our 2x2, we're going to crisscross. This is going to create like a little X. So we should have our 3 little Rola beads. And you can see the Softflex wire show through. We're just going to pick one side that we're just going to add on our check glass, alternating between these aqua beads and the bead mix from Beadora. The other side will just have the Rola bead, and then we'll crisscross with a Rola bead. And by doing this technique, the check glass beads are just ever so slightly bigger than the Rola beads, and that's what's going to cause this technique to work. So we're going to add on our Rola bead on one side of our Softflex wire. And just like how we started, you're going to be able to see that beautiful Softflex wire show through. And then I'm going to start with one of the gray beads. I think this would be really pretty if you wanted to color block this and kind of do like an ombre style. You can do that as well. So we have our check glass and one Rolo bead. We're going to add one on. And just like we did on that first step of our necklace, take the other side of soft flex wire, crisscross, and then we're just going to give it a pull. And you can see it has a little bit of curve, and that's what we want for our design. So we're going to make sure that when we add on our next check glass bead, we're on the same side of our wire. And I'm going to use one of the seafoam green. We're going to add another Rola bead. And then we're going to crisscross. And when we do our crisscross, it doesn't matter which side of soft flex wire we add it onto first, as long as we crisscross and we get that little X. And this does go a little easier when you have less soft flex wire to work with. And don't worry if it starts to curl, that's natural and part of your design. And usually about the fourth or fifth little segment, it does start to straighten out. Added on 3 sets of beads. And then we're going to add some more on. And this one for the next set, which will be kind of in the middle, and that's where we will embellish our necklace towards the end, are going to have the seed beads or like the little icicles from each bead. And then we're going to finish our necklace just how we started it. And it's an optional step if you want to put the seed beads all the way around, completely up to you. So for this part, we're going to add our Rolla bead on just like normal. And then we're going to start with one of our little gray beads. We're going to slide it on. And then we're going to pick up 7 seed beads. And what I love about the soft flex wire is it does act as a needle, so you don't have to pick up the little tiny beads with your fingers. And then we're going to pass back through our little crystal. It's going to create like a little loop. We'll just make any adjustments as needed. So you have like a little crown or a little halo on our bead. And then we're going to do the crisscross again with the Rolla. And just give it a pull. And don't worry if your little seed bead isn't laying straight. They'll flatten in just a moment. And then we're just going to repeat the process. We just have to change up our little seed bead count from 7 to 9 when we are working with the little aqua beads. We're going to add on one more Rolla bead. And then we're on our seafoam green, and we're going to pick up our 7 seed beads. And the trick with this is when you're adding your seed beads for your little crown, is just make sure that your check glass is as close to that Rolla bead that we did the crisscross on. Do our crisscross. And we're going to add one of our little aqua beads. And on the blue one, we'll pick up the 9 seed beads, and then we're just going to do the same thing for the remainder of the middle beads. And that is 5 sets of the 3 beads. And then we're just going to pass back through our aqua. And any beads will work for this technique as long as it will pass through your soft flex wire twice. We'll make any little adjustments. We'll add on our Rolla bead on the next side and crisscross. And then we're going to do that for the remaining 4 more sets of beads. Our design, and then our beautiful soft flex wire and turquoise showing through with our beautiful Arctic Circle colorway. Halfway done adding my little seed bead embellishments. So this is about the middle part of my necklace. Now, I know this looks a little short, but we did attach it to a jump ring to start our project, and we're going to do a little something different for the back of the necklace. So this is kind of the side part of it, and then the little icicle seed bead crowns for the beads are going to be the middle part. And then we're going to add our embellishments to the bottom. And if it's curling just a little bit, you can just put a little bit of pressure and it will straighten out. Or if you have like a necklace display stand, um, Softlex will keep its shape. So don't worry if it's curling on you, it will turn out in the end. And then we're just going to add on the rest of our beads with our little embellishments. So we added on the middle part of our necklace with our little embellishments. So we're just going to add on our three more sets of beads, like how we did when we first started. We're not going to need the seed beads. You can see our little necklace, and then we'll add our embellishments and add the rest of our necklace and our clasp. So this is kind of like a little charm necklace where you can customize your embellishments, and that's kind of an optional step as well. If you don't want to add a pendant or a little charm, you can just leave it as is. So we're going to keep following our pattern, but without our seed beads. We'll put on one of the little gray beads, a Rola bead, and our crisscross. And then we'll just finish adding the rest of our beads. So we added on all our beads, and we do have some soft flex left over, but we'll save that for another project. You can see why you need a lot of soft flex for your project. I know it looks kind of small, but has a little bit of a stretch to it, so it will get bigger. And then, of course, we're going to add the rest of our necklace. These are the remaining rolla beads, so you do have enough for maybe like a matching bracelet. I'm probably going to try to make like a little pendant. So we're going to add one rolla bead to each side. And I do have a lot of soft flex wire, so I'm just going to trim this to a more workable length. Like this is a perfect size for maybe an earring or a bracelet, so be sure to save any extra soft flex wire. We're going to add on a 2x2. Similar to the Rolas, we're just going to be doing that crisscross and creating that little X. And go and give it a pull. And we're going to add on our jump ring. Now this is a closed jump ring, so I have to attach it before I make my final loop. You can always attach it later if you're using an open jump ring. I'm just going to slide it on one side of my soft flex wire, and then with the same side, I'm going to pass back through my 2x2. We want to compare that our loops are fairly the same size. We'll make any adjustments as needed. And once we have our adjustments completed, we're just going to take our plier, give it a little smash, and flatten our 2x2. And then we're just going to trim any extra soft flex wire, making sure not to trim one of the wires that we need for our necklace. We'll save our soft flex. And we have the start of our beautiful Arctic Circle necklace with our beautiful colors of the ocean with our little icicles. You can see how it will expand when we add the rest of our necklace. I'm going to be working on the sides of a necklace. I'll be using beads from the exclusive Jesse James bead mix. This wasn't included in the kit. Usually for TGBE, the Jesse James bead mixes are sold separately. So I purchased a few of those. So I'm using the rondels from the mix as well as these beautiful little cube beads, and then a couple more of the crystals just to incorporate more of the color. We're going to need some eye pins, and we're just going to do some loops with our one-step looper to attach the rest of them together with our jump rings. So we're going to add on one of our little crystals, a rondel, our very sparkly little cube bead. Can never have too much sparkle. And another one of our little crystals. And these will all be attached together with a 6mm jump ring. So we're going to make another one of those. And you can use any beads you'd like for your collection. If you didn't want to do this step, you could just let some soft flex wire show or maybe braid like a fluorite, a turquoise, and a quartz together and braid it. You could put some chain. So a lot of different options. So what I like about this project is you have a little bit of some wire working, little bead weaving, bead stringing. So super fun. So we're just going to add on the rest of the beads. So we have all our beads added onto our eye pin, and I am using my one-step looper. We're just going to slide it into the tool and just give it a gentle squeeze. It'll give us the loop, and I am using the 1.5 millimeter. There are two larger sizes. I'm going to do that for the remainder of our eye pins. So once we have them all completed, I just like to take my round nose pliers and just make sure that the loop is completely closed. We wouldn't want our necklace to break or come apart at the connection points. Connect all of our little components that we just made with the eye pins. So I'll start with the green, the gray, aqua, and then back to the green. And then I will attach it to the jump ring. So you can just see how sparkly it is, and then it just goes into that Arctic morning sky colors palette. So we're going to connect all of these. We're just going to be opening and closing jump rings, and I'm using 6 millimeter jump rings. We're just going to gently twist side to side, attach on one of our little dangles that we just made, and then we're just going to close it. You should hear that little click, and you'll know it's secure. And what's great about using jump rings is if you ever wanted to extend the length of your necklace and you didn't want to redo this whole component here, you could just add a couple jump rings. You could add 2 or 3 jump rings in the center, or maybe add some more beads on the head pins or eye pins. So completely up to you, and then you can customize it as well. Attach it to our jump ring and give it a close. We'll do the same thing on the other side and give it a close. So I'm going to use 3 jump rings on each side to attach my clasp. We'll just connect them like we did with the other ones. So gently twist and add on our jump ring and give it a close. And this will just extend the length of the necklace just a little bit, but also because it is a toggle bar, we want to allow that movement for the bar to pass through our toggle. Then we're going to attach it to the end. And then we'll take one more jump ring and we're going to attach one side of our toggle. It doesn't matter which one. And then attach it to our little jump rings. And you could add like a little charm in the back and made with love or like a little penguin charm. So we have the base of our beautiful Arctic Circle necklace designed with the newest Softlex Company design kit. We have these adorable little ceramic penguins. They are handmade in Peru. And they came 2 in the kit, but you can buy them individually on softflexcompany.com. So I will leave a link down below in the description. While filming this video, they were currently available. So we're just going to add them to the little ends of where the seed beads are on the final steps of our beautiful necklace. And we will just be adding on these adorable little penguin charms. You'll just need a head pin, your penguin charm, a bead of your choice, and then I'm using 2 of the little daisy spacers. A couple reasons is this is a handmade bead, so sometimes the hole is a little irregular and you don't want it sliding off the bottom of your head pin or eye pin. So by adding on a little daisy spacer, And these are the little check glass spacers, or you could use a rondel. It just kind of gives it a dressier way to jazz up your little head pin or any of your little embellishments for tassels. One, and since they are ceramic bead again, when we use our one-step looper, it just gives it a little bit of spacing so you're not risking damaging the top of your bead with the looper. So we're going to add one of our daisy spacers and a bead. So it looks like a little snowball is on top of the penguin's head. And you could do a wrapped loop if you wanted to with a round nose plier. I just like using the one-step loop. So we're going to slide it into our tool and just give it a squeeze. Similar how we did on the back of our necklace when we connected all those beads with the eye pins to the jump rings. And I'm adding 3 little penguin charms. And it's up to you how many charms you would like to add to your necklace. You could also add some beads if you wanted to, make it look more like icicles, completely up to you. And bring in our round nose plier and make sure that our loops are completely closed. I know with the Beadora mix, there were a couple little snowflake beads that might be really cute to add in here as well, or maybe like some crystal briolets. So we have all of our little penguins. We're just going to set those off to the side. We're going to need 3 6-millimeter jump rings. Just going to attach our penguins to the little seed bead crown that we have on the check glass. We're just going to open up our jump ring, and I'm going to be attaching them to the 3 blues in the center. And if this is a little bit of a tight squeeze, you can always use a 7-millimeter or an 8-millimeter jump ring. And then we're just going to attach one of our little penguins. And you could add a penguin and a bead on the same little loop. So completely up to you. A lot of different design options. And then we're just going to close our first little embellishment with the penguin. We're just going to do that 2 more times. So we're going to skip the 2 check glass and go to the next little aqua one. Add on our penguin and give it a close. Have our adorable little penguin necklace using the newest Softlex Company Design Kit, Arctic Circle. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It helps my little channel grow. And check out down below in the description for all the products used, as well as a tutorial playlist for all things Arctic Circle. Have a wonderful day.